string methods class and anybody else who may be watching. Today I would like to give, actually I need to give, a little presentation on how to play nice, or I guess grammatically correctly would be to say play nicely, with the new string instruments that you are going to get. Now, I am wearing my signature Tilly hat because we are certainly going for an adventure. I am wearing my signature black turtleneck so that you take me seriously. And I'm wearing shorts because, well, it is still summertime. Now, clearly, I would love to give you this lecture in person so that I can come up and I can look you in the eye and I can point my bow at you and say, you must pay attention to these things or bad things will happen. But here we are. So we're going to try it this way. You need to know that the violin, the viola, the cello, or the bass that you get are very nice instruments. Some of them are very valuable instruments, and they are generally sturdy instruments. You want to take good care of them, you want to treat them nicely, and if you don't, the ghosts of instruments past will haunt you for the rest of your lives, and that would be very, very bad. Now, so that I don't forget, and the legal team has reminded me, to announce unequivocally that the instruments involved in this video presentation are here voluntarily and are here to provide a public service, and they are not even remotely serviceable instruments. So, with that said, we are going to begin with our presentation. All right, my friends, one of the first things and one of the most important things that you need to remember is that when you are done practicing, you must put your instrument back in its case. Don't leave it on top of the piano, don't leave it on top of your bed, don't leave it under the kitchen table, put it away in a case. Now, if you are playing the string bass or you are playing the cello, you will likely have it in a soft case. Now, these soft cases have a rounded side, and they also have a flat side. And being that you are my students, and you are of course way above average intelligence, you will realize in short order that the flat side of the case goes on the back side of the instrument, and the rounded side of the instrument goes on the bridge side of the instrument. If you don't do that, bad things will happen. Now, with the cellos and the basses, if you are wanting to just put them down briefly, you can rest them on their sides, and you can see that I have a nice string bass over here, a beautiful string bass, and this is actually perfectly okay to leave it like that when you are, making notes in your music or something like that. Now, if you are playing the string bass, there is one thing that you must never, ever, 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 ever do, and that is to take your bass and lean it up against the wall like this, because otherwise sudden gusts of gravity will come, they will suck the bass down, and it will go bing into a million pieces, and that is bad. So always leave your bass nicely resting on its side like this, and it will be just fine. And for those of you who are playing cello, you will find out very quickly that there is a very, very sharp, pointy thing at the end of the cello, which is called an end pin. You want to make sure that when you put your cello away, you always put that end pin in, because if you leave it out and you put your cello down, and then you go walking through here and you're not paying attention, bad things will happen. I had one of my student teachers years ago not paying attention. He ran through a cello section with shorts on like this. He ended up getting 5 stitches in the side of his leg where the end pin cut him open, and the cello went flying into the orchestra pit and shattered, and that is bad. So cellists, when you are done practicing or you are just taking a break, put your end pins in. So one of the things that you will find out is that these strings do occasionally go out of tune. And if you are going to practice and you are going to make a good sound and you are going to keep yourself and your parents and your siblings and your pets happy, you want to make sure that your instrument is in tune. Now here are a couple of things that you do really need to pay attention to. First of all, okay, you always want to be plucking a string and be listening to it while you are tuning. If you are plucking a string and you are turning a peg and the string pitch is not changing, then you are probably turning the wrong peg. Now, the other thing that you really want to pay attention to is when you're tuning, you want to be listening to the pitch all the time, or you'll break a string. And that is bad, and that is sad, and it's also sort of expensive. And if you're not careful and you don't do it the right way, the string will break and it will hit you in the nose. And that is sad and it hurts. And then you probably never want to play the violin or the viola or the cello or the bass again. So when you're tuning, listen to the pitch, make sure that you're turning the right string, and don't over-tune.
And if that happens when you're playing the bass, you'll never be able to play the bass again.
Ooh, that's right. Probably take you out, and that would be the last thing. And then we'd have less people in my string methods class, and that would also be very sad. So if you are playing the violin or the viola, chances are very, very good that on the back of your instrument, you will be using a shoulder pad, which is a nice little thing. And I will tell you in another class that if you put your shoulder pad on right and you hold your instrument up like this, it actually will be smiling at you.
Oh.
But in any case, when you are done practicing, if you have a shoulder pad on your violin or the viola, and you put it in your case, and you close your case, really bad things will happen. And then you also want to be really careful that when you pick up your violin or your viola, you want to be very careful that you latch your case, because otherwise bad things will happen, and that is very sad. Hello? Oh my, you know what? Oh. And if there ever was a reason to not use your phone while you're in the practice room, and to pay attention to where you put your instruments down, that would probably be it. Goodbye, little viola. It's been a nice life. And for any students, when I talk about the sound post coming through the top of the instrument, that's what it looks like. So if you've practiced well and you haven't destroyed your instrument, then you deserve a special treat. And for me, the most specialist of treats is to go fishing. I've got my waders, I've got my fly vest, I've got my water bottle, I've got my fly rod, and in case the fish aren't biting, I'm going to bring my violin along so that I can practice under a nice tree until the fish are biting. This is going to be a great trip. So, my friends, I really wish that I had been able to give you this presentation in person, and you may actually have remembered it better if I'd been able to give it in person. But I hope that you take some good things away from this little video. Treat your instruments nicely, they will treat you well, and you will not be haunted by ghosts. And I think I probably will have ghosts after me for a while. It's one of the trials and tribulations of being a teacher. So thank you all.